Welcome to the hottest real estate topics on the planet, keeping you up to date with all the creative ways to buy and sell real estate without bank qualifying, so anyone can build real income starting today. Here is another great show with Dealmaker Bill and Pete the Rookie.
All right, here we are at another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies. How's that for my music voice? Huh?
Drink some more water.
Oh, my God. What a party, huh?
Oh, boy, oh, boy.
We had a big old fat Christmas party.
Man.
Oh.
You know, that was more fun than most actual Christmas parties.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's because we were around like-minded people. That's why.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
A lot of like-minded people.
Yep.
A lot of money in that room. I actually made a note of it somewhere in the night. A lot of money in that room.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And the testimonials of the people that we've helped, just, I don't know about you, but it floored me.
Well, it's very impressive. I'm jealous of some of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're doing better than me.
Yeah.
I got to catch up. Like, it's inspirational.
Yep.
You know, you do your thing, and then someone else comes along, and, ooh, they did really good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do a little better.
Yeah.
It's a challenge.
It was really cool.
It's possible, though. It's all real possibilities just happen right in front of my nose and your nose. We're doing it, and they're doing it.
Yep.
That's the important thing. You're doing it. I'm doing it. They're doing it. It's actually happening.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's when other people do it and they start talking about it.
Yeah.
That you really get the impact of what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, Peter, we're at Christmas, obviously, and some people probably will listen to this podcast way past Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
But you know me in Christmas.
Yes, sir.
And I'm kind of in Christmas mode, which means that I will have a lot of trouble working the next week because we're about 5 days away.
Yep.
Usually I don't work the last 2 weeks of Christmas. So I'm in the Christmas spirit. And that's just me. So with that said, I would like to introduce you to episode 128, and it's called Being a Real Estate Millionaire is Not a Fantasy These Days. And if you have listened to the other 127 podcasts, I'm going to blow your hair back today.
Take it easy. I don't have much left.
Grab a cup of coffee and your cigar. Oh, wait a minute. Most people don't smoke cigars.
Oh, get your pipe.
Get your pipe. Whatever it is, get comfortable because we are going to do some stuff today that may seem a little simple and it may seem not so important when you hear it, but if you actually do it, you'll be like, "Oh my God, that was the most amazing podcast ever." Because we're gonna cover some basic stuff today.
You know, people have a misconception on basic.
Yeah.
Basic isn't not the stuff you need to know before you get to the real good stuff.
Right.
It is the stuff that everything's built on and the stuff you use and recombine to make everything.
Right.
What's flour, milk, butter, eggs?
It's the details.
But you make everything with that stuff.
Yep.
Is it a pie? Is it a cake? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? You know, you make everything with it. So
Bird in the plane.
Yeah.
All right. So
basics.
That's right. The description is how to become a millionaire isn't taught in schools and college. Is it?
No.
In fact, most of society frowns on anyone who talks about getting rich. Right? Not everybody wants to get rich. Most people have a lot of crap connected to that. Like rich people are bad.
Everybody wants it, but if you talk about it, if you have it, then they think, hey, you got my money.
Right.
I don't need your money. I made my money. Get your own.
Some will even avidly work against you just so they can be right that they're poor. True?
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately.
It's also funny. Go ahead.
And hope to make you poor to prove it even more.
They want to keep you down with them.
Yeah. Then they're right. And then they're better off. Oh, boy.
Yeah. It's also funny. Schools will teach you how to read, how to write, how to do math, and how to pass a test. but never how to make money or balance a checkbook even. They don't even teach you that.
Nah.
And it's like, that's the most basic thing you need. Like, once you get out on your own and you have that like little place you're living in, apartment or wherever, that's like the first thing you need to know.
How about a budget?
Right.
How about a budget?
Right. But, let me see, I'm reading the wrong sentence. In fact, simple as it may be, most never become millionaires because they don't think it's possible. Really. And today we're going to disabuse you of that completely. The other reason is most don't understand money, how to get it, and never mind keeping it and multiplying it. They don't even know how to get it. Never mind keeping it and multiplying it, right?
Yeah, because you do see people who get it and just completely blow it.
Yep.
Keeping it, yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. In this podcast, we're going to reveal some of the quickest ways for you to get money and multiply it.
I'm listening.
So, first of all, I want you to know that this is not some gadget or some course or some thing that you're going to get in the physical universe. We're going in the land between your left ear and your right ear. It's right behind those two holes you have in the front of your head that you look through. Because when you adjust that thermostat, things happen. Are you ready?
On your mark.
Peter's giving me a look like a deer in the headlights. He's like, "What are you doing? What are we gonna do?"
I
here?
have no idea where you're going with this. I'm just letting you go.
Peter's like, "Should I lay down on the couch, Bill? And are we gonna start the session pretty soon?"
This is the session. Like we haven't been there.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is something that is very, very near and dear to my heart, but I never seem to like get fully understood on this. Okay?
Yeah.
Because it took me a long time to figure it out. And the reason why is because it's completely invisible and insidious. It's like a cancer in your life that is destroying most people, and they don't even know it. They don't even know it. Matter of fact, they oppositely think it's something they need, and they seek it out and look for it and ask for it because they think it's that important to them. But it's actually the one thing. It's like a stake through a vampire's heart.
And he's looking for the steak.
No, it's in his heart. He's the vampire, and it's like he keeps getting stabbed with this stake, and he keeps asking for more. Yeah. It's kind of like, you're hungry. I don't know, like around here, it's like we work all the time, right?
Yep.
So it's like food for us is annoying. So it's like when it's time to eat, you don't prepare food. You just go find something quick to eat, which is the worst kind of food to eat.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we don't prepare, we don't do whole foods, and we should, and we're not going to prepare our food so we stay healthy. No, we just buy crappy food because it's like you think you're feeding yourself when really it's insidious and just making you unhealthy.
Huh.
Right? It's just like that.
Yeah.
All right? And here it is. Where do you get advice?
Where do you get advice? Well, I don't think people actually get advice. They just let it hit them from all corners.
Another point well taken. So there's no filter. Right? It's just like you think when somebody talks to you that they actually really mean it. And there are a lot of people that say things they don't mean. There are a lot of people that will say things because they think you want to hear that.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. All the social training and all the...
right.
I should say this, I should say that.
All the mechanisms.
Yeah. How are you? Fine.
Yeah.
When you're not.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Weather's
Fine.
good.
And it's not.
Yeah. Okay. So for this to work, like taking advice, you have to be extremely, extremely selective on who you listen to. And I know this because I've been doing this with my wife. And there's people in our lives, okay, that are constantly giving us advice. The apparency is that they're wealthy. But when you look at how the wealth came, they're not. They were lucky. They weren't wealthy. They were lucky. 1 or 2 deals made them lucky. They don't consistently do it. They didn't grow their wealth. Their wealth is shrinking because they're living off of it. See what I mean?
Yep.
Weirdly enough, most financial advice comes from struggling people or people that have a lot of money trouble.
I just got this strange idea that those kind of people are in a problem, so it's on their mind.
Right.
So they're thinking about it, trying to figure it out and sort it out in their own heads. So they talk a lot about it.
Right.
And they're trying to find their own solutions.
Or they go read a book, and they read another book, and they read another book, and all they're doing is giving you a seminar of all the books they read. They're not doing it themselves. So I'm going to offend some people right now, but I just don't care. And it's not because I'm heartless or I have like ice in my veins. It's because you have to hear this. How many heavy people or plump people have told you in the past how you should eat?
Not me personally, but yeah, I know what you
You've
mean.
not had that happen personally? Where people tell you about what kind of diet you should be on, and they're usually not skinny?
No, I'm afraid I'm the one who's telling everybody what to eat.
Okay.
I'm the skinny guy telling everybody what to eat.
Okay.
I'm the opposite, kind of a jerk.
The point is this.
I get what you mean.
Are you healthy?
Me?
Right. There's
Reason-
the answer right there.
Yeah.
Just a lag.
Yeah.
So you're telling people how to eat to be healthy, and you're not healthy. Or as healthy as you want to be. My point taken.
Yeah, my point too. Like, a person's that your attention's on a certain thing, so you're working on it.
Right.
So it's a work in progress to some degree. So hopefully there's some success in there. Otherwise, really shut up.
So you're taking advice from somebody that probably has worse problems than you do, or if not equal to. So basically, this is like going to the AA meeting and getting support. Right?
Blindly.
There's nothing wrong with an AA meeting. I'm just saying that they don't cure you per se. They just agree with you.
Yeah, I don't want to be in a room with people with the same problem, so we just commiserate about it. I want to be in a room with one guy who knows what he's talking about. I'll shut up and listen.
Right. So one of the things that you say all the time is you should study and read people that have done it.
Yeah, read books by successful people. I mean, it doesn't even matter what it is. You want to be a professional athlete, read books by professional athletes. If you want to be a really good cook, read books by Emeril Lagasse and Bobby Flay and whatever.
Now, the guy could be bullshitting you in the book, but I could tell you this much. It will, if you're half a human, it'll stimulate you enough or more than the guy that's giving you advice in your family or wherever in your environment. It'll be better than that.
Well, they've gotten at least that far.
Right.
They've got a book. Somebody published it, and it's on the market. You can see it, and you can buy it. It can't be total crap.
Right.
Hopefully.
Good.
And they have a TV show. Yeah, sure.
Right. So who you take advice from is crucial. Okay. Here's another one. This one really, really baffles me because I've consulted. I mean, I work for a company that we consulted automotive repair shops, and I work with between 400 and 500 business owners a year. I looked at their financial statements, and within a 90-minute period, I had to do an analysis of what's wrong with their business. And I'm from Connecticut, and I'll be in Oklahoma, I'll be in California, I'll be in Florida, I'll be wherever in a hotel. And I have this profit and loss statement, and I have the owner and usually his spouse with him, or her spouse with him. And within 90 minutes, I have to completely troubleshoot that business. completely.
Just off that statement?
Yep. And what they tell me or what questions I ask.
Right.
So in the beginning, I wasn't very good at it. In the end, I was extremely good at it. And I had the high, because we sold consulting, and I had the highest closing percentage because I would just ask the right questions. Okay?
Yep.
So the reason why I tell you that today is because this phenomenon that I'm going to tell you is not something that I just like dreamed up. This is not something that was told to me. I mean, it was told to me that it clarified it, but it was happening, and I noticed it. It was a very glaring outpoint. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Most people try to expense their way into a profit.
That's an interesting sentence. Expense their way. I think. Go ahead. I think I get it. Keep talking.
No, go ahead.
Well, it sounds like, they're like throwing money at it.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're throwing money at it.
Most people try to expense their way into a profit. In other words, they just keep cutting and cutting and cutting and be cheaper and don't buy this.
Cheaper. Okay.
Yeah. Like don't buy the good coffee at the grocery store. Buy the one that's $3 cheaper. You know, go to this gas station. It's 3 cents cheaper. Right?
Yeah.
So really what I learned is that I found that most people do this. When they're in an emergency, they economize. They like cut back. When they're doing really well, they spend. They commit to things they shouldn't commit to. Right? Like long time bills. Like they'll go buy a house because they had a year worth of good business or 2 years worth of good business. They'll go buy $1 million house with a big fat payment. Okay? When really what they're doing is they're promoting. They'll promote their business and they'll produce.
All right.
But they don't really do what they're supposed to do. Because that's all good. You would think on the surface that's the right way to do it.
That's what you want to do. But
the real way to do it is when you're in emergency, you promote first.
Right.
You get out there and let people know what you're doing. So if you're having trouble with money and you want to be a millionaire, what you need to do is you need to get out there and promote, like I'm doing right now. I'm going to make $1 million next year. Just promote it. Right? Better yet, if you're going to flip a house and you never flip the house, then promote it. I need to buy a house. Do you have one for sale? I need to talk to people about buying houses. And before this episode is over, I am going to give you 2 amazing gifts. And they're not going to be like, go on a link, go click on this. I'm going to give them to you on this podcast that will absolutely wrap your head around this concept. It's going to be amazing. So
sounds good.
We're going to keep going.
Get to it.
Yeah. So what happens is when people get into emergency and money, they don't promote. First thing they do is they cut out the advertising. Right? Especially businesses. They cut out the advertising. Wrong thing to do.
Right.
The second thing is when they're wealthy, they don't economize. Right? When you have a lot of money and you're being affluent and you have things going, that's when you should pay off all your bills and really promote, get out there and be known. But invest your money into things that will last long, because the affluence will never stay this. It won't. It's just impossible. I mean, every business, every economy doesn't stay. It doesn't go up, 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 and never go down.
Right.
I mean, the pendulum swings both ways. So what happens is when you have money and you're in an affluent state, you need to make sure you secure the future, right? And you make sure you invest in things that will give you money back. Kiyosaki said it the best. I think it was Kiyosaki. Buy assets. So having debt is not bad. Okay, if you're investing in assets,
right, something that will return something to you.
Right.
You buy a nice $50,000 car. You know what you get in 10 years? A broken car.
Right. Yeah, $50,000 car makes you look good.
Yeah.
It's a vanity thing.
Uh-huh.
It's you're vain. You're stroking your ego.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not anything more than that. And that's totally fine if you could just afford it.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with it, but just realize that that's all it is.
Yeah, I've run across a few wealthy people. My family knows some. My father cut their hair, and these are CEOs and all that, and we'd meet them, house parties or whatever. And the ones who are successful don't blow their money.
Right.
They respect it, and they're almost cheap.
Right.
But not in a bad way. They're like, why waste it?
Right.
And that's why they have some, because they didn't just blow it.
Right.
So there's a certain respect there.
So money's an energy,
Mm-hmm.
and it moves.
Mm-hmm.
Proof of that is put money in a savings account without a purpose, and watch how all of a sudden the transmission in the car breaks, or the furnace blows up, or something happens, and you have to go use it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which brings me into the next thing, which I'm not always good with, but I'm making this declaration, or what is it? I can't think of the word.
What are you trying to do?
I'm making this claim right now.
Okay.
Proclamation.
I am proclaiming.
Yes.
I hereby
That's the word.
proclaim.
Proclamation. I don't do this enough, and in 2019, I used to do this, and I stopped doing it, and I got in trouble because of it. This past year was rough.
Oh.
Just because I've had, my wife's been ill, and I've had some personal things I had to take care of, and it really taught me a lot of things. It really taught, the main thing it taught me is no matter where you are, no matter how much money you think you have and how safe you are, it could be wiped out.
Yeah.
It could be wiped out.
Yeah.
So the thing to do is, and this is advice that I've taken myself, and I've given a lot of people, and the people that take this advice always 100% of the time come back and tell me, oh my God, it was the best thing you ever told me. And the thing is that it's a habit. It's a habit that once you get used to it and you do it, it becomes old hat, and you don't even miss it. You don't even.
Well, you don't have to think about it. Yeah.
You just do it.
Yeah.
And here it is. Every dollar you bring in, I'd like to say 10%, but it could be as low as 5%. Put it in a reserve account for expansion. Now, maybe you've got $4,000 worth of bills and only making $3,000. Still take some percentage of that money and put it in reserves. You have to. And when people do that, they come back, and some of the numbers I've heard, I've met people, especially in that arena I was talking about, where I've helped a lot of coaching clients, or coached a lot of businesses, right? They've bought houses, vacation homes, cars, buildings. Like their business, they didn't own the building, and they bought the building because of this. This one thing. Now it took them a few years, but here's the amazing thing is, every single business on planet Earth, especially in the United States, will spend the money that it has. Every business will always, and it's always miraculous. It's always weird shit. You could have money in an account, but sooner or later, that money, that business will spend it. Okay? So the thing to do is to peel off and hide some of that money. Because when you have a husband and wife team, we'll say, like a small business, and the husband does the work and the wife does the books.
Sounds familiar.
If she hides 5% of the money, you're never going to know that. So let's say your bills are $3,000, or like I just said before, they're $3,000 or $4,000.
Yeah, $4,000.
$4,000. Okay, and you bring in $3,000, and she peels off, we'll say 5%, $150.
Yep.
So now you only have $2,850.
Mm-hmm.
Did that solve your problem? You needed $4,000.
Yeah.
And now you only have $2,850.
No, it didn't hurt it, and it wouldn't have fixed it. So you're kind of in the same boat, which is hustle,
Right.
and go fix it.
So she's like, get out there and make some money.
Yeah.
So if she takes off the $150 and tells you you need to make $1,250, what's the difference if she told you you need to make $1,000 or $1,100 as opposed to $1,250?
No, it's not much. I think worse than that. If you didn't do that, you would probably spend that $150 somewhere dumb.
Right.
You would do some dumb thing with it.
Right.
And you wouldn't even think about it.
Right.
But it's gone.
So I did a test one time. Dan Kennedy talked about this in a newsletter. This was some years ago, and I'm having trouble doing this again. But I have to tell you that it was amazing. I was in financial trouble, which happens to me a lot. Not a lot. I shouldn't say that. I'm a pirate and a bum. You know, I'm the type of guy that gives 6 figures away to a charity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm the type of guy that,
Yeah.
You know, I just...
You give your money, you give your time.
Yeah. The reason why I give money away and the reason why I'm like that is because I'm an arrogant, cocky bastard. And the way I'm arrogant and cocky is because I know I can make more money. I know how to make money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried about that part.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if I blow it all, I get it back.
Well, that's how people who have money, that's how they do it.
Right.
I mean, if you can make it, you can make it again.
Right.
If you can make it once and you're worried about it, you're screwed.
Right.
If you don't trust yourself that you can do it.
Right.
How do you get up in the morning?
Exactly.
Thinking, I can't?
Right.
Erase that apostrophe and erase that T.
Exactly. That's right. So,
That's the only thing that gets me out of bed in the morning, Bill.
yeah.
If I thought I couldn't, I would just I'm done. I give up.
Right.
But I don't. Why would you? You have to do something every day. Why don't you do something that's going to win?
Right.
Why don't you just make believe you're a winner and just go for it, Just fake it, make it. Go ahead.
Right. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
So what I was doing that Dan Kennedy taught me was I was giving away 10% of all my income. Now I had that scenario where I needed like $4,000 a month and I was like making $2,500.
Mm-hmm.
But the $2,500 when I came in, I would give away $250.
Mm-hmm.
And I would do things like I'd be at the grocery store, and I'd be in the shopping line, and I'd be paying, and I'd pay with cash because at that point, that's another thing is if you pay with cash, if you turn everything into cash and the only thing you can spend is what's in your pocket,
right?
It forces you to start thinking about what you can and can't do.
Mm-hmm. Like the old days,
right?
When money was actually money.
I think that there's a book called The 3-Minute Millionaire. Amazing book. I forgot who wrote it. Can you check that? The 3-Minute Millionaire. I forgot who wrote it. The concept of
Bill,
the book,
I got 3 minutes. Give me the title of that
concept
book.
of the book is when you're buying something, you pick it up and you look at it and you think to yourself, I wonder where this is going to be in 6 months. And it goes through this whole like little drill of like before you buy something, you start asking yourself some questions.
1 minute.
The 1-Minute Millionaire.
The Entitled Way to Wealth.
The Entitled Way to Wealth.
By Mark Victor Hansen.
By Mark Victor Hansen.
And Robert G. Allen.
Robert Allen.
Yeah.
The Robert Allen?
Yeah.
Mr. Real Estate Robert Allen from the old days.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's an amazing book.
So what's the
$10 on Amazon.
It's only $10 on Amazon.
So what's the point then? How does it work?
When you pick something up before you purchase it, like you're in a store, you look at it and I don't remember all of it, but the big thing is like, where is this going to end up in like 3 months or 6 months or a year?
Oh, okay. It's like, is it really valuable or is it just a waste?
Yeah.
This will do me any good.
And it goes through this little process of evaluation of what you're really doing. And it takes a minute to make that decision.
And if you do it right, you save money, stop wasting.
Yeah.
Or buy things that are more useful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you put your money in places that are going to be longer term.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, what is this going to give back to me?
Yeah.
Right. So anyways, I was doing this, so I like go in the grocery store, right? And there's a teenage kid bagging my groceries. And I say to him, and my kids tell me I'm too effusive sometimes.
Yeah, you talk too much.
Yeah,
you ask too many questions. You're too nosy.
Yeah, in the social world, you're supposed to be able to go in a grocery store and not have to talk to anybody.
Yeah, don't ask any questions. Don't get personal.
Right. It's like
Everybody stay in their shell, in their cocoon.
Bullshit on that crap. Keep that in your own generation, because I'm not doing that. I like to talk to people.
Text me.
Yeah, exactly.
If you have a question, text me.
Right. Across the room from one another, you can't talk to each other. You text them.
Bill, I see old people in restaurants, like grown-ups, like, grandparent, like they're sitting at dinner with their phones.
Right.
Oh, no.
So I say to the kid, "Hey, you got a girlfriend?" And he looks at me and goes, "Yeah." So you're not bullshitting me, are you? He goes, "No." I said, "Do you take her out on dates?" And he goes, "Yeah." I said, "What do you do?" He said, "We like to go to the movies." "Oh, really? So what movies do you like to watch?" And he tells me, some movie I don't know anything about.
Is he wondering what this crazy person is asking you questions for?
No, he just, because I did it, I talked to him. I get in communication with him, and he's like, and I'm paraphrasing it.
Yeah.
I get all done. It was like a minute or two conversation. And I said to him, "Oh, you like this girl?" He goes, "Yeah." I reach in my pocket and I give him a $50 bill. I said, "It's on me next time, huh?"
Jesus.
So when I say give away money, that's what I'm talking about. When you give away 10% of your income, that kind of thing. Now, I've done churches and that's cool. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, for a very long time, my girls go to a congregational church. I was sending them money in their name. Huh. Please put this on Jesse's account. Please put this on Emma's account. Because I was kind of like, it's kind of like tithing, except you just kind of do it in charity ways.
Yeah.
And, like I'd go into a restaurant and I'd order $10 worth of food and leave a $100 bill and walk out. And in a restaurant I never go into, people that don't know me.
Right.
Because otherwise, if you go into a restaurant where they know you, I think they'll expect it more often. You do that. When I started doing that, my income grew exponentially. And I could never figure it out. But it grew. Now, if I just donate like to the church that I go to, it doesn't work that way. I don't know why. I think it's more along the line of that it's kind of like a pipe that has water in it. And one end, on the left end, the water comes in. On the right end, the water goes out. Yeah. If the water can't go out, it stays. The pipe is full, right?
Sure.
So you can't get new water in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all it is.
Yeah.
If you take the must-have or the neediness off of having the money, it automatically just fills the pipe.
No, you got to relax with it a little bit.
It's energy.
It's possible that when you give money to an organization that does like general public work, I think the general public gets the benefit of that.
Right.
And if you give it to some person, then maybe you as a person get the benefit back somehow.
Right.
That's my guess.
I'm not going to get into this, but I've been between Frank Kern and Dan Kennedy. I bought some very expensive material and I've been listening to it, and they talk a lot about intrinsic value, and I had to do a lot of work to get that wrapped around in my head, and really what it is intrinsic value is the value that you really don't see.
It's like like inside, like deep inside somewhere.
It's like in the environment, but it's not obvious.
Like if the air got cleaner, you wouldn't notice.
Right.
If the water got more pure, you wouldn't notice.
Right. Okay. Which, by the way, number one, where you get your advice from is totally wrapped into what I'm talking about, intrinsic value.
Mm-hmm.
Because you think it's valuable, but it's really not. Like this podcast has a tremendous amount of intrinsic value. Because even though we're talking about real estate, there's a lot of other things people will adjust in their life that has nothing to do with real estate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean like just talking about the 10% right now.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. If people you have a job, you get a paycheck, you get money, just do this.
Yeah.
That's intrinsic value.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. Right?
Yeah. Well, life is a big picture. It's not just money or just real estate or just it's everything. And it's any of the books that you read by real Kiyosaki or Ron LeGrand or any of those guys, they always talk about the big picture too.
Right.
Like give money to charity, like help people, do something with it.
Right.
It's just a bigger picture.
Yeah. So why do we talk about all of this stuff? Which, by the way, the last thing on saving 5 or 10% of the money, the golden rule is when you put that money in reserve, and you hit an emergency. Now, let's say it takes you a year to put that money in the bank. And then all of a sudden you have an emergency and you decide you're going to go use that money. It takes seconds or minutes to wipe out a year's worth of work.
Right.
So what I have found is put more attention on how to raise the necessity level of the money or the emergency, and work on that before you take the reserves out. And you'll find that those emergencies and those necessity levels will make you smarter. They make you a better person. They bring you to another level. It's uncomfortable. But once you get through it, just like what I said, I don't worry about making money. I know how to make money. You know, do I stumble around with it sometimes? Absolutely. Do things change? Absolutely. But the core, at the end of the day, I mean, you've been with me long enough. I mean, some of the shit that we come up with is like crazy. Right?
Absolutely.
And it never stops.
Mm-hmm.
The ideas never stop.
Yep.
So why would we talk about being a real estate millionaire and it not being a fantasy? I mean, are we really talking about that? And my answer is yes, because this is what most people don't talk about. They want to show you shiny objects.
Yeah.
They want to give you the pill. You know, what was it? The Matrix, the red pill or the blue pill.
Yeah.
Is that how it was?
I think so.
Yeah. Right? And
They want to keep your back of your head connected to some wiring harness.
Right. All right. So
pull out the harness, folks.
I've spent the last, how long are we here now? What does it say? 30 minutes? 36 minutes pre-framing you or preparing you for the podcast.
That wasn't it?
No. All that was doing was getting you in the right frame of mind.
Okay.
So here we go.
Hit me with your best shot.
I know you've heard this a lot because we have a friend that says this all the time. But it's about making a decision.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you make a decision, it's not like this. I want to make $1 million, but I don't know how. I want to be 50 pounds lighter, but it's going to be hard.
Or how about, I wish I was 50 pounds lighter.
But it's going to be hard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
See, when you do that, you like put the affirmation there, and then you take it right away.
And the negation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's...
So what I'm talking about is I'm talking about not worrying about the logistics, just mocking up in your mind a picture of what it would be like if it was that way. It's like an imagination. Imagine yourself like in that position. Mm-hmm. Like telling your mother, I made this decision last year in January to have $1 million and now I got it. And then tell your story.
Well, when you do that, doesn't that negative stuff just show up?
Yes. So the saying is, my saying is, where your attention goes, energies flow, results show.
Yeah.
So if you have attention on, I don't have enough money, what are you going to get?
I don't have enough money. I don't have enough money over and over and over.
That's where your attention is.
Yeah, you're going to be working on that instead of working on go make some.
So this is like kind of like the secret type stuff. What are you going to attract?
Yeah.
More bills.
So that negative stuff, just ignore it.
Right.
Just ignore it.
Here's a piece of information that is so simple and so plain that if you just repeat it in your head and do it and do it and do it, your life will change a bazillion times. When you say, I have no money, and you put attention on it, it solidifies that problem and makes it real. What you have as a human being is the ability to imagine the future, communicate about it, and then solidify it with your attention. Your attention is your secret weapon. When you put attention on something and intention on something, it shows up. And most people do this and don't even know they're doing it. It's like a subconscious type of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the first thing you have to decide is that being a millionaire is possible. It's totally possible. You have to put a stake in the ground so that you can get reinforcement from your decision. So if you go back to the beginning of the show, who are you going to take advice from? You got to put a stake in the ground and you have to get reinforcement. You have to get what you need. You have to find resources.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the amazing thing, just like The Secret, and this has nothing to do with The Secret. I've seen that once.
Yeah.
It's not.
I've seen it once.
It's not my cup of tea.
Mm-mm.
But the way they clarify these natural laws is very clever. It was a marketing ploy. Okay?
Really?
Yeah. So some of Dan Kennedy's students, it was I forgot his name. He wrote how to write copy hypnotically or something. I forgot his name. Anyways, him and one other guy. Anyways, it doesn't matter. When you request from the universe and have nothing on it, like it's just a clean, honest, like, I'd like to have a grape soda. And what I do is I when I'm in my right mind, which I'm not always, when I'm in my right mind, I think to myself, gee, I wonder how that's going to appear. And I make it a game. And weirdly enough, it might be like I might have a dentist appointment and he'll be like, hey, you want some grape soda? Because you would never expect that in a dentist's office.
No, not soda.
So when you mock it up as a game, like, I wonder how this is going to happen now. Here's what I want. I wonder how we're going to figure that out. Well, this is going to be fun to figure this one out.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's going to be amazing how the universe is going to give me this one.
Can I give you an example?
Yeah.
It just dawned on me that I did that.
Yeah.
It was about 4 years ago. I said to my wife, honey, sit down. We got to find a way to have one more source of income besides my job, your job, some Social Security in a few years, because it's not going to be enough. I can see it. So we got to do something else. So I'm not sure what it's going to be, but we'll find it. And then across Facebook comes a real estate thing, freebie in the morning. Okay, Thursday, I'm going. Then the $300 weekend, honey, we're going. Why am I? You're going with me. Just get in the car. We're going. I don't know anything about you. Shut up. We'll figure it out. And we showed up, called you, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I knew it had to happen.
Right.
And I wanted it. And I believed in it in me. And got a check yesterday.
Right.
Yeah.
$68,000.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So
how many more do I need, Bill?
We're going to talk about that in a couple minutes.
Okay, go.
All right.
I totally understand that, and I hope the folks understand that.
So-
Because if you don't, look what you're doing instead. You're doing it. Oh, try this on for size. If you don't believe it and you don't like your situation in life, you're actually doing it in reverse.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Right?
Emma, could you fix the computer screen, please? So, here's what happens. If you make it an adventure, it'll be an adventure. And a worthwhile one.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about all the time, the definition of happiness is not hitting the goal. It's overcoming the obstacles.
Yeah. If you have a project you're doing or some plan, and then it's like all these things, you got to do this. Every time you get one step done, oh, that was so hard. Yay, I did it. You feel good.
Right.
It's not when you're done. When you're done, it's called done. When you win the Super Bowl, like, what do you do tomorrow morning?
Right. Exactly.
Besides go to Disney, like, ugh.
Yeah. So most of us are really settling for like basic necessities.
Mm.
Like, clothes, a car, time off,
Get through the day.
a nice house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pay our bills at the end of the month.
Trip to Bahamas.
Maybe a good job.
Yeah.
Maybe less stress.
Nicer people to work with.
Yeah.
A nicer boss.
It's just settling because you have so much more potential than that, right? By the way, Peter.
Yes, Bill.
Everything I just talked about is called middle class.
Middle class. Hey, Bill, I remember one day I wasn't even up to middle class. I was striving for it, but then when I got there, I think I'm there. Yeah, yeah. You want to be, what is it, the bell-shaped curve? Everybody's stuck in the middle?
Right. So here's the thing. When you're just settling for basics and basic necessities.
Isn't that striving to be a sheep?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm being to be rude.
It's actually being selfish.
Oh.
Because you're trying to handle your problems and not thinking about those around you.
Wow. That's interesting.
It's actually a lack of responsibility for somebody like me. We were just talking about this before we went on the podcast.
Yeah.
About how all these people, we had 50 people to meet up last night, or almost 50 people.
Mm-hmm.
And the stories that they told about how I've helped them, right? To one another on stage and back in the video. My daughters, because it was my birthday, my daughters made me a video that was absolute. I got to watch it again. We're going to watch it as soon as we get done because you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And what these people wishing me happy birthday say about me.
Yeah.
And it made me realize that it's a responsibility point. That if I can help people, and that was just a fraction of the people I've helped. It was just people that were available to send in videos, right? If I had that ability to help people make money and do real estate, it's a responsibility point. It's like if I don't do that, I'm being selfish.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like doing it for my own leisure.
Yeah.
Or because of my lack of confront. Or because of my out ethics.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter. It's a selfish thing. Okay.
Yeah. You know what? I came up with a line. I like to help people too, and sometimes people resent it.
Yep.
You know, maybe I'm doing it wrong, but I'm trying. I'm not trying to be mean about it. And I thought of something like, and sometimes you don't want to say something to somebody like, "Why are you telling me for? Who do you think you are? You think you're so smart? You know, I don't need your help, whatever." But I thought of something to ask somebody, if you knew something really helpful that would help me in any way, would you tell me?
Right.
Well, of course I would. Okay, I have something that maybe I could say to you. Would you want to hear about it? No? Okay.
Right.
But just the yin and yang of it. I would tell you, you would tell me if we're decent people, wouldn't we?
So we're kind of off on a tangent here because
I don't know where we are, but it's an interesting place.
We're way off. We're about 15 minutes behind schedule. My answer to you on that is this saying. It goes like this. Frustration is a function of expectation. So if you're frustrated on helping people because they're not doing what you say, then your expectation is too high. You need to lower or change your expectation and you won't be frustrated. So there you go.
Sure.
All right. So first thing I want you to do is decide not to be middle class and get out of that mindset.
The sheep race.
You could be a millionaire. Okay? Then, of course, I mean, I know for a fact, I got to say this. I know that you could follow my how to buy real estate without a loan course. And you would be fine. You could be a millionaire just with that single $500 investment.
Yeah.
If you just followed it. I mean, Randy went up on stage yesterday, one of my coaching clients, she's been on here, and she talks about 2 deals making $250,000. And that only took her 4 or 5 months.
This year. Starting this year.
Yep.
She's an inspiration to us all, Bill.
Right. So basically, here's what happens. You don't trust your own thought on this.
You saying you shouldn't?
You don't. Because your thoughts have gotten you where you are now.
Geez, I think I had that conversation with somebody. Like, you know, whatever you've been doing, whatever you've been thinking, hasn't been working. Try something else.
Right.
Oh.
So now what happens is I come along and say, buy this course for $500. and you're talking to yourself, I'm just mean for trying to take your money. I'm like, he's just trying to sell me something.
Mm-hmm.
It's all benefit for him. Why should I give him that reward? Instead of looking at it like, maybe this is something good. Maybe this $500 thing is like really cheap, like he says. You're not taking my advice. But yet I'm the guy that's buying and selling and flipping houses. I'm the guy that's making that money. And you're on the other end in your own thoughts doing whatever. So you don't trust me because you trust your thoughts more than you trust my thoughts, but yet your thoughts aren't getting you where you want to go. And it's not just with me, it's with everything in your life.
Oh, yeah. Exercise, the diet, new job, afraid to leave your job.
Right.
Ask that girl out for a date, that secretary.
So just look at where am I right now and how did I get here? Your thoughts, your ideas, your conversation in your head has planted you right where you are now.
But that's the good news. That's actually good news. Because if it wasn't you, if it was everybody else, if it was the whole universe, how are you going to change that?
Right.
If it's you, you have a chance in hell of changing it because it's just you. You can change you. It's only one person. It's just you.
Right.
Who's in control of you? You. So, I talked to somebody, it's just one of my students. He's a chef. He has a family business. And I just met him. A nice guy. And it's the business doing well. They're opening up a storefront. They do catering. They're going to make food. You can come pick up a week's worth of food. They're moving along. And we were talking about like improving life and blah, blah. We got a little bit deep too for a couple minutes at the end of the lesson last week. And he said, by the way, you wouldn't believe what I was like a year ago. Like, what do you mean? I didn't give a shit. About what? Anything. I didn't feel like going to work. I couldn't care less. Guitar lessons, why bother? Where's it going to get me? Just a rotten attitude.
Apathy.
It's terrible. It's just, he says it wasn't apathy. It was worse than that. It's like, I just really didn't want to. It was like apathy plus or something. It was terrible. And I said, well, what happens? He said, I don't know. One day I woke up and I said, the hell with it. What am I doing? I said, let me just go live. He snapped out of it.
Right.
You don't see that often. It's exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
He snapped himself out of it. And he looks great. He looks like happy. He's pleasant. And he's doing well. And he just snapped himself out of this. I wouldn't have guessed that. Right. You don't see that often without like some serious help. So you can do it. It can be done. This is like Monday night, 3 nights ago, I had this conversation. I was surprised.
Nice.
Yeah. And I didn't do it. He did it. Nobody helped him.
So let me bring this point home to you, okay?
Yes.
Here's the punchline. Ready?
Yes, sir.
Ew, this tastes like crap. Here, try it. How many times has somebody done that to you?
My version is, oh, smell this. And they smell it.
Right.
Dummy.
Stinks like shit. Smell it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it does. Ooh.
Right?
Yeah, and?
There's your life. That's your life.
You're brutal this morning.
That's your life. If you change that, you'll change a lot. Now, we did this, I don't know, many shows ago. I think it was show 70. Okay, I don't remember the name of the show. I looked it up, but I don't remember the name of the show. I should have wrote it down.
Yeah.
Let's do some millionaire math.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Well, what would it take?
Yeah. So if you wanted to become a millionaire with real estate and using my system, okay, and you made $5,000 a deal, you'd have to do 200 deals, one a month for 16 years.
Okay.
Now, I'm not even going to get into the underlying current of that. Because to get a deal, how many people do you got to call? How many people you got to talk to? And how many offers do you have to make? Okay?
Sure.
To make $1 million at $10,000 profits, you would need 100 of them. And if you did one a month, it would take you 8 years.
Okay.
Okay?
And this is all without compounding interest.
No. If you wanted to make $1 million at $20,000 a deal, which is the common one,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
you would need to do 50 deals. And if you did 6 a year, which is like one every other month,
Mm-hmm.
like a renovation,
Mm-hmm.
it would take you 8 years.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. If you wanted to make $1 million and you wanted to make $30,000 a deal,
Mm-hmm.
it would take you 33 deals. And if you did 6 deals a year, it would take you 5 years.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
If you wanted to make $1 million and make $40,000 profits, it would take you 25 deals. And if you did 4 a year, it would take you 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted to make $1 million and make $50,000 a deal, it would take you 20 deals. If you did 4 a year, it would take you 5 years.
Fair enough.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So pick one.
Hmm.
Do the math.
Mm.
Figure it out in your life. And then once you make that decision, your environment will start to align. Things will fall in place. They'll look like miracles. No, that's just you.
Yeah, the only miracle in the room is you.
Yeah. Because you have the power to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody listening to this podcast, you have the power to do it.
Want to hear crazy? I'm reading a book about the Beatles by the one guy who was actually with them in the room for like 2-3 years. Studios, tours, dinners, their homes. They let him in. And at one point he says, when I talked to them at the height of their career, they weren't even conceited.
Yeah.
They thought that anybody could do it.
Right.
They just had to do what they did. Just put it together and write the songs and go da-da-da-da. I don't think anybody can do what they did as a musician, but they had that attitude. Well,
It's a true artist.
yeah, we just did it, and anybody could do it. We're just people.
Right.
That's the Beatles thinking like that.
Right.
Bazillionaires.
All right. So we're almost done. We're getting close. We're almost done. I got a couple more things to cover.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is this. Right. Make a decision on what you can control, not what you can't control.
Mm.
Like, for example, don't say, I want to lose 50 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because that's like an uncontrollable type of a decision.
Yeah, it was too big a goal all at once.
Right. But instead say, I'm going to start going to the gym on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I'm not going to eat bread. Don't eat bread.
Yeah.
Or, don't eat sugar.
Mm-hmm.
It's a decision that you could make and be in control of.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Sure.
And those are the decisions you want to make.
Yeah, those are the habits that'll get you there.
If you make enough of those decisions, your system will evolve.
Mm.
I remember a couple years ago I did a lecture called Goals Are for Losers.
Yeah.
And what that really was about was setting the goal is easy as a human being. You can do that. That's not hard to do.
Yeah, but it's fluff.
Right. If you put a system in place, which is in our case habits,
Yeah.
then it'll come to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
But most people don't put that system in place. So what I'm talking about is when you make decisions that you can control, those are putting your habits in place and putting your system in place.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you something that I've recently experienced and I've been studying because I believe in it that much. That to be a 7-figure earner, which is $1 million or more,
Mm-hmm.
you're screwed. Point blank.
That wasn't what I was hoping to hear, Bill. Where are you going with this?
There's not a lot of people that understand it. that mindset is different, and you can't have that conversation at your kitchen table. You can't talk to your spouse about it. You can't go to a party and say, "Oh yeah, I'm building a children's hospital." You know what I mean? Most people don't get it.
No.
And what's going to happen is if you take advice and you absorb that environment, it won't happen.
No.
You have to rise above the group agreement and be better than it.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you sink.
What kind of courage does that take?
A lot.
Mm-hmm.
You really got to believe in yourself.
As much as I or a person could be afraid of doing that, I'm personally more afraid not to.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I try at least.
That's why I talk about taking responsibility.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to just rattle through some things in real estate that you could do. Now you could do these one a week, one a month, one a day. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just going to give you a checklist. And if you're listening to this podcast, you should listen to it again. Because honestly, I'm telling you, what we just went over today is what most people don't talk about because it's not sexy enough.
But I looked at all the people in the room last night.
The ones that did what we're talking about are the ones that made
were
the money.
That were sitting at the panel and sitting in the room watching it. And I know the people that come month after month and don't have the success they want because I don't think they're doing it.
Right.
Whatever the reason is. And I don't always do it either myself, but I just turn around and I do it the next day.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's a checklist.
Yep.
Decide to download the FSBO script on my website.
Mm-hmm.
flippinghouses4rookies.com/free stuff. Go get the FSBO script.
Mm-hmm.
It's one piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if you're listening to this podcast, you should fast forward and rewind until you write this list down. Because I'm telling you, it works. And I'm not saying that because I invented it or because I'm telling you. I'm telling you that because I've done this with many coaching clients and they are successful. Decide to then take that FSBO script and scrap paper or a yellow notepad and write the script out in your own hand, not on a computer, 10 times minimum. Read the script and then write it out in your own words 10 times. Not in your own words, just write out the script the way it's said. Because I have students that I listen to because I make them record stuff. And one for one, the ones that follow the script get appointments. The ones that add their own shit to it don't get appointments. All I did with the script was research it with sellers. And then assemble the words and then test them and test them and test them. And that's all. I didn't invent this. I just made it a shit ton better than what it was.
Yeah. You put one line in maybe a month ago.
It's one word.
Yeah. But there's one line with it has 4 parts to it. It was like perfect.
Right.
You read it to me. I'm like, oh, Jesus. Like, why didn't we do that? Why didn't somebody else think? Jesus. And it's just 1, 2, 3, 4.
And I learned it from texting.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it was, I was texting a lot.
Yeah.
So, by the way, if you have downloaded the FSBO script before, you should go re-download it because we've enhanced it and re-uploaded one about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Okay? So, first thing is download the FSBO script, flippinghouses4rookies.com/free stuff. Doesn't cost you a penny. Once you have it, print it and handwrite it minimum 10 times or until you feel comfortable. Once you have done that, I want you to role play with at least 5 people. So once you've handwritten it and you feel like you've got it down and you understand it, now sit in front of somebody and mock it. Do a mock role playing. Okay?
Yep.
Once you do that, go into Google or on Zillow, I don't care where, and find 10 for sale by owners. Do not go in there for a week and doing research. Just type in, like New Haven, like we're in New Haven County. I live in Wallingford, but the county's New Haven. Type in Connecticut. I don't care what you type in. For sale by owner. So you could do your city, you could do your county, you could do your state. I don't care. Go find 10 arbitrarily. The first 10 that show up, just take screenshots, write down their address and their phone number, and that's it. Okay? Call those people. Make a call a day. Just a call a day. If you can't make one 5 or 10 minute phone call a day, get away from me. I'm done. You and I are divorced.
You mean talk to one person a day?
Call and talk to one person a day.
Yeah,
Don't leave a message. Actually do the FSBO script with one person a day. You could do that easily within 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, you make a few phone calls. No one answers. You make a few more phone calls. Someone picks up the phone. You talk to them.
As soon as you think you could get one of two things, either a person that's willing to let you pay them monthly payments until you can pay them off, or take a significant deep discount, you make an appointment with those people. If you go to flippinghousesforrookies.com/free stuff, there's advice, there's videos, there's all kinds of stuff there. Okay?
Yep.
We have another podcast called Flipping Houses Boot Camp, Startup Boot Camp. Flipping Houses Startup Boot Camp. Okay?
Yep.
We take you in 30-minute increments right through the checklist of how to start this business and do some of the stuff we're talking about. Go find whatever device you're listening to now, go find that. It's Flipping Houses Startup Boot Camp. And we have a Facebook group attached to that. So if you do the checklist, the listen to the audio and do the checklist, okay, we have support in the Facebook group. So you can't go wrong. Where are you going to get that? Okay? But if you want to do it on your own and you want to reinvent the wheel, here's what you do. Use the script. Call a person a day. I will tell you that in the beginning, you will probably need to make about 15 offers to buy a house. Okay? Can you make those 15 offers in a week? A year? Actually, a week, a month, a quarter, a year, 2 years, 5 years. When I hear somebody tell me they haven't bought a house and they've been at it for 2 years, that means that they've made like no offers. Because we were listening to a coaching call the other night on my coaching call. We were listening to a client, one of my brand new clients. The guy never called anybody ever. It was his first phone call. And he just read the script. He was like, "Hi, my name is, would you consider," and he just read the script. And the person on the other end of the phone did exactly what he needed. They had nothing on. He sounded like a robot.
Yeah, bad, huh?
When he went off the script, he lost the person's interest, and they went out of communication, and he actually ended up hanging up. The call is the most amazing thing to listen to because it's very educational. Okay, so just listen to the script, do the script. So make one phone call a day. Make one offer a week. Make that your goal. These are things you should make decisions on. I'm not saying do it. Just make these decisions. These are good things to make decisions on, right? To become a millionaire. Okay, so make one offer a week. Okay. Once you do that and you get a deal, rinse and repeat. Okay. Rinse and repeat as little or as much as you need more or less money.
You don't want to have too much, right?
Well, depends. What did you make a decision on?
Yeah, right.
And in simplicity, that's what you do. Now, of course, I'm going to say this because I created it, and most people think I'm biased. And like I said, who are you going to take advice from? I'm telling you, my How to Make Money with Real Estate Without a Loan course is the course. I have. If you're on my mailing list, you're going to be getting some specials, and that's going to be on there on my email list. If you're not, just go there because I have payments on there. You can. I think it's. I have payments. You don't have to come
really?
up with the whole $500.
Oh, okay.
Go do that.
Yeah.
I've had way too many people successful by doing it. It's step by step. It's in checklist form, and you can do it. Right? So at the end of the show, I'm going to ask you to decide how much intention and attention you want to put on this. And the more intention and attention you put on what we talked about in this podcast, the faster you'll become a millionaire. There's no tricks. This is like the raw sugar in the coffee. This is the real deal. This is, I don't even know, I haven't even been watching to see how many people are listening to us. And I don't even care. Because honest to God, from the bottom of my heart, this is as real as it gets. You do some of the things we're talking about. Now, it's not the all, end all, and, you know, what is that saying? All,
the be all, end all?
End all, be all, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? It's not that. But I promise you, if you do what we're talking about in this podcast, you will make leaps and bounds over everything else you've done. Probably the most important part of this podcast is this. Whatever thoughts you have got you where you are. And if you're not taking my advice and taking your advice over my advice, there's your problem. Because I buy and sell houses. I know how to do it. I've done hundreds of them. You've done none or one or 10. So whatever you're thinking may not be correct. So you need a new evaluation system on your thoughts to maybe get what you want. Now, if you like where you're at, keep thinking your thoughts. Go for it. Well done.
Mm-hmm. But isn't that why people have coaches, supervisors? I mean, football coaches, movie directors, even famous actors and actresses have directors.
Right.
Musicians have producers.
Right.
That tell them, try this, try that.
Right.
And they hire different ones because they get stale and they want to try something different.
Right.
And they have their own input, obviously. But they have, and you have your own mentors and coaches.
Yes.
Duh.
Yes.
So who are you going to listen to?
Right.
Okay.
See you next week.
Thanks for tuning in to the hottest real estate topics on the planet with Bill and Pete. If you want to continue learning how to buy and sell real estate without money or credit, head over to flippinghouses.club for some cutting-edge real estate wealth tools. Or contact us at info@flippinghouses.club.